Okay, hey, JC here with Wrestling Travel USA. We're here today with Jay Cash. Jay Cash, how are you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
Very good. Now, Jay Cash, you helped us out just recently. We did a fundraiser. We teamed up with Mania Crawl for the Red Cross. You were one of the many wrestlers around the world that participated in a video. We were able to raise over $3,000 for the Red Cross. So what we wanted to do as a business, as a company, and for the fans is reach out to everybody and find out a little bit about all of these wrestlers from around the world that gave us, their time to sort of help out with that. We really appreciate it. So you wrestle, let me guess, you wrestle mainly out of Wisconsin is where I know you from, but can you give me a little bit of your history?
I started here in Green Bay. I trained for ACW, All-Star Championship Wrestling. I think 2000 I started training. Mike Mercury, Shane Hills, they were the trainers there. Mike Mercury owned ACW, and Shane Hills was one of his students that was now helping with training. I wrestled out here for 9 years. Not a lot of travel. Did a couple things in Illinois, but when I started off, I had wife and kids, so my weekends were kind of family. So I would wrestle once a month, and then maybe another show that month in Illinois, but I really didn't get out there. I broke in the same time as Silas Young, about a year and a half after Ken Anderson. So Silas, he was traveling everywhere. So, he was getting his face out there a lot more than I was. Did a couple extra work with WWE around 2006 to 2009. And then moved my family to Las Vegas. My fiance, I got divorced, and my new fiance had been living and working out there. So I moved out there 2009, wrestled there 2016, I think. I moved back here. Since 2016, I think these last 3 years I've wrestled more in these last 3 years than all my other time combined. It's just been crazy.
Move back here and the rest is history, as they say. So Silas Young, now there is a guy from Wisconsin that I have not had the pleasure to meet yet personally. But I recently had done a road trip and caught Ring of Honor on TV in Indiana, of all places. And just knowing the name Silas Young, and in our busy lives, it's unfortunate to say I didn't have a whole lot of experience watching him wrestle. That boy can move.
Oh, he's always been just crazy in the ring.
Oh, wow.
He trained somewhere else in the beginning, and then kind of fine-tuned the end part of his training with us here in Green Bay. I knew him when he was training at the other place. I'm not exactly sure who he was training with, but he was always, me and him both picked up on things really, really fast. The difference is I'm 6'6" and he's 5'10", 5'11", maybe 6 foot. I don't know exactly, but considerably taller than him. At the time, I wasn't that much more heavier than him because I was only about 185 pounds, so I looked like a twig. But we had our first singles match against each other, which was, I still have it on VHS, and when you watch it, it's funny for my son has debuted and he's trained, so he wrestles, so it's funny to watch students or him or even myself go back and watch that match, and it was an ROH match before ROH had those matches. Like, it literally was, a very brief beginning and some chain wrestling, and then finishers, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then the actual finish was some type of schmoz. But when you watch that, it's like, God, what were we thinking?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go back and look at any of mine because a lot of people are like, hey, where can we find your stuff on YouTube? I'm like, I have barely anything. I have I don't even know what type of cassette you call it. I got one of my final matches on a cassette that's like this big. I have no idea how to play it or anything or what it looks like. I'm going to pretend that it's awesome and it's a hidden gem and never play it.
Right.
But yeah, I hated to even say that because Silas is a name that I obviously know. And I don't know if anybody else can relate. I mean, obviously in the business and a huge fan, but it's there's a lot of names that I know that I've never really watched any of their matches, and that's a sad thing to say. We're quarantined, so I got time to do it. But holy cow, I was just expecting, from what I had heard, is more of a brawling style, a Bruiser Brody style. But the fact that I watched that guy move and stuff on that Ring of Honor that I happened to see 2 months ago, I was like, I need to pay attention, you know.
Well, we brought him in when I lived in Vegas. We had put a group together called the Players Club. It's just I do that. I'm part of that group here too, in the Midwest. But we were kind of they were moving us. They were kind of moving us up on the roster, but they didn't have a lot of guys that tag teams that we could wrestle that could really establish us as a really good dominant tag team. So I knew ROH was going to be in town, and I said, "Hey, I'm really good friends with Silas Young. He's done a couple tag matches with Beer City Bruiser, Matt Winchester." I said, "If I can get those guys in here, that's something you guys are interested in." Well, at the time, that promoter hadn't watched very much Ring of Honor. And he's like, "I ain't even ever heard of this guy before." So I showed him some tape and this and that, and reluctantly, he didn't really know a lot about him. So he's like, "Well, yeah, if you want to bring him in, we can bring him in." And we talked. We talked, and that match got put together. And my tag team partner after it, he's been wrestling. He at that time been wrestling about 6 years, and he said, "That guy's a machine." Like, he was doing stuff out there that was just mind blowing. Like it was. I was a fan holding the tag rope, waiting for you to tag me in. And he's just amazing. And that's the thing about Silas. Silas is crazy. He's crazy good. Like, no one should be that good. I'm surprised that ROH is the only place that he's wrestled.
Yeah, me too. After watching, so the Players Club. After speaking with you, I've been on the Players Club. There's if you call it like a fan page or a like page on Facebook. Yep. So I did get a chance to watch you with Billy Gunn, amongst other things. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of the bigger names that you've kind of stepped in with, or some of your favorite opponents and favorite matches? And then if possible, where people watching this can kind of find some of those matches if they are rolling around on the internet.
My favorite all-time wrestler, people ask me who my favorite wrestler is, I get a weird look when I say it. My favorite all-time wrestler is Road Dogg.
Okay.
So when I say it, a lot of guys, like workers are different. You know, they kind of know the type of worker he was and stuff. So it's a little bit different with them. But when you talk to like fans, they're like, Road Dogg. He's always amazing to me because if you've seen him in a bar, you wouldn't know he was a professional wrestler. He's just a big dude. He wasn't some jacked up big dude. He's just a 6'3", 6'4", whatever. But when you watch him in the ring, it's not very much he can't do. So he's always been my all-time favorite. Before him, you've seen a lot of him, probably Bret Hart. But I got an opportunity. He was the first name that I ever got to work with. I moved to Vegas and I came back to visit my kids, and my promoter that was here when I left said, "Hey, I know you're here visiting your kid. Are you busy? I got a surprise for you." And I said, "No, I can work. I always bring my gear." And I ended up getting to work him on YouTube. If you look up Jason, Jayson, Cash, and then just put wrestling after that. Me and Chuck Palumbo, Johnny the Bull. Out in Vegas, I had a chance to do some stuff with Disco Inferno, Michael Modest, The Godfather, did a segment with Kevin Nash, and then back out here, probably my favorite match that I've had, Mr. Anderson, which is it's weird that I was never in the ring with him when I debuted and wrestled here before, because this is where he's from. But just the stars never aligned, and all the guys that were workers before me when I was training, I got a chance to wrestle every one of them in the ring, except him. Ben McCoy, owner of Frontline Pro out here in Wisconsin, said, "Yeah, I'm going to have you wrestle Ken. I think that'd be a kick-ass match. And yeah, we tore it up, and it's probably my favorite match. That and the Road Dog one, because how often do you get to wrestle your all-time favorite, you know?
Yeah. Now, did you get a chance recently? Didn't Road Dog come through Great Lakes Championship Wrestling and do a seminar?
Yeah, he
Not
did a seminar.
long
I made sure my son did that seminar because that man is incredibly intelligent, knows this business inside and out. Plus, he is on the upper management for NXT. And it was really cool because he did that. My son was able to do that seminar. And then the very next month, Billy Gunn was there. And I made sure that he did that seminar because Billy Gunn is one of the head trainers at AEW. And then I was part of the match with Billy. It was a 6-man match out there at GLCW. And yeah, that guy's amazing too. That guy is crazy good.
One of the things you mentioned Ben McCoy, and we're talking about Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. Ben McCoy and Dave Hero, two guys doing a lot of stuff here in the Midwest. I got a chance. They came up north my way with Road Warrior Animal, did a seminar.
Yep.
I'm old and kind of crippled up, so I got a chance to do the seminar. But I said, hey, I'm going to just soak up the knowledge because my fat ass and crippled body jumping in there. Cal Hero, only been doing this for 2 years, but I was really impressed with watching Cal Hero. I've been impressed watching him in the ring, but I was really impressed with him during that seminar. Talk about somebody who is picking up a lot of knowledge along the way, and for the short amount of time that he's been wrestling, I looked at him and I'm like, you've been doing this for only 2 years? I was like, it's nice to see some of these young guys, and he's got an opportunity there with
what people from this area, and hopefully people outside the area, outside the country, what I'm saying, with YouTube and social medias and stuff, what they're going to see with the Midwest is, especially Wisconsin, there's a lot of guys coming up that are going to be the future of this business that are insane workers. Cal Hero gets better every time he has a match. Dave Hero's son. Ben McCoy and Monty's son, Gavin. Amazing if you get a chance to watch him in the ring. He's wrestling, just starting to wrestle more matches. My son goes by LJC, Lil J Cash. Him and Gavin are going to be doing some tag team stuff soon. They're going to be part of the cruiserweight division out here at WPW. They are the future of this Midwest, and they are just, when you see the stuff that they do, my son and Gavin just need to hit the gym and get some size, but it's just, my son unfortunately didn't get my height. His mom's only 5 foot, so I think he kind of fell in the middle. He's only about 5'10", but he does stuff in the ring, and people are like, "Oh wow, your kid this or this or that," and I'm like, he's been around wrestling since he was born. I literally debuted a week after he was born, and he was at every show the entire time I lived here. And then when he lived with me for a while in Vegas, and was at every show, and you could tell it was just something that he was going to do. So I'm excited to see where he gets to go from there. I sit back and just kind of listen to the seminars. I've been wrestling for 20 years. I'm old too. So I kind of have make sure that he does the seminar and just kind of listen, because things that he might forget, I might remember from the seminars, and knowledge is knowledge. We never stop learning. You know what I mean? So I'm very excited for the future of this business.
Yeah, 100% on the knowledge. Now, you've wrestled out in Vegas. You've wrestled here in the Midwest. Now, Wrestling Travel is mainly a company. We're coming out of the United Kingdom. Have you ever got a chance to wrestle internationally, even if it was Canada?
No, I have. Someone asked me why I haven't traveled. It's just I always had kids at home, so it wasn't something that I haven't wanted to do. It's just something that the stars never aligned for me to go. Ben McCoy goes out to Japan. He has some contacts out there, and he goes out there once a year. He is very interested in taking me and a couple other guys. He said just my size. Like I said, I'm 6'6", but now I'm like 260 on a small day. So he said, just your size is going to have, it's just going to be an amazing opportunity. So it's not that I don't want to, I just haven't had a chance to leave the country, but definitely something that I would be interested in doing. In the longevity of what has been my career thus far, I've kind of learned I can be very entertaining. And I've kind of switched my character and the Players Club is more of an entertainment based thing. And it's not that I can't wrestle. It's not like the tag partners that I have aren't good workers. People want to be entertained. I had the best thing that I heard anyone say is Eli Drake from Impact. He wrestled a lot in Vegas with us before he even went to Impact. Before he went to the NXT and after he came back, he was in Vegas a lot. And he had went to Impact and he got a hold of me. We were at a show and he grabbed me and me and my partner had just put a promo out. And he said, you need to get this stuff in front of somebody. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, you could literally be on TV for the next 8 months and never touch a ring. You guys are that entertaining. You guys are that funny. Like your promos are just crazy good. So that's what I do. I try to put out a little bit. Since this whole lockdown and COVID-19 thing, I haven't done a lot of promos because I'm a big tag wrestler. I only single wrestle a couple places. But I want to entertain people. So I do as much as I can on Facebook. I love to do promos, whether they're film promos or doing promos in the ring, because I want people to be entertained. And then when my 6'6" ass gets in the ring, I can go too. So they laugh at my promos, and then when I get in the ring, they're like, "Oh, okay, he can whoop some ass too." So, yeah, I definitely am trying to get out as many places as possible. When I was out there in Vegas, I wrestled West Coast stuff. I did California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, and a couple times out in Colorado and Denver. And then since I've been here, Minnesota, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, the only thing I'm missing is some southern and eastern stuff. So hopefully this gets out there and some people see and they want some entertaining wrestling, whether it be a tag team, multi-man faction, or just myself.
Yeah, fantastic. And that's part of the thing that Wrestling Travel, what we wanted to do. Mania Crawl got a hold of me Wednesday evening to do this virtual Mania Crawl on Saturday. I reached out as much as I could to everybody, and for the most part, a lot of people, I had to send a long message out, which immediately looks like spam. And actually, Facebook tagged myself as spam when I was sending it. Like I couldn't send it to as many people as I wanted to. So therefore, it was a long message, so people couldn't. I get a long message and I'm like, they want something. I'm not dealing with it. So I didn't get a lot of response. But Tiny Love was able to help me out, reach out to you and some other people, and just get the word out, because it blew up. I had over 70 people throw in videos. So part of the thing that we wanted to do was we want to talk to everybody, and hopefully from that list of 70 plus wrestlers from around, it allows you guys and all of us to network and hopefully get booked in other places. So that was the entire goal of this. So we're already over time, and I knew we would be. But what have you been doing then to keep busy during this time of stay at home and quarantine? Anything exciting that you could tell us? Or
watching a lot of wrestling. Me and my son, he works at a fast food place, so their drive-thru's open, so he's still working. I do construction work, but I do work for a small company, so I've been working a little bit. But all of this sitting around and not being able to wrestle and stuff, I've watched a lot of wrestling. Kind of thought of different things that I want to do and everything, as far as promos and entertaining the fans and stuff. Got a lot of good stuff coming up. Anyone who wants to look at any of my stuff, the Players Club is a fan page on Facebook. You can also get a hold of me at Shane, Shane, Hedrick, Hedrick on Facebook. And I have a Twitter account, which is the Players Club 6.
Players Club 6. So great. So you jumped on to my last question, so I'm going to share something with you. I'm not going to say that you and I are older guys, but I am going to date myself when you talked earlier about and you grew up in the Midwest, so I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Well, I grew up in California.
You grew up, okay, so then I'm going to be way off base with this, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Right. I was thinking that you were a Wisconsin guy. So people ask me my favorite wrestler, and you talk about fans giving you looks, and even some of the workers. My favorite wrestler answer all the time is, and I grew up with him. I had 3 channels growing up. Greg Gagne out of the AWA. I didn't know if you grew up with the AWA and stuff, because even the boys at Wrestling Travel, now I'm much older than them, and they make fun of me all the time when I'm talking AWA stuff. I'm like, don't get me wrong, I like this stuff. It's in our blood. You watch it to this day and do whatever. But I'm like, if I go back and can watch some old stuff, and everybody's like, not even like the NWA and stuff, I'm like, I never had a chance to watch it.
Hey, a lot of my moveset and my tag move stuff with my partners and stuff, when we're trying to figure out different stuff to do and we're not really clicking on stuff, I don't watch stuff going on right now. I go back and I watch Vault stuff or all YouTube stuff and see some old school stuff, and it's like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. How come we're not doing that anymore? You know? So yeah, I definitely love the old stuff.
Yeah, fantastic, kid. So you're with me. I can go on record and say that Jay Cash does like the AWA, so I'm not alone on this.
Oh no, the thing is it's funny because if you are a fan of wrestling, it doesn't matter the promotion that you watch. If you're a fan of wrestling, you should be a fan of wrestling. I can watch something from the 50s and be just as entertained and just as in awe as I watched something that happened on Monday. You know? So if you're a wrestling fan, you can't give no one a hard time for a specific company or area of the country or the world that you watch wrestling. I'm definitely a wrestling fan, and AWA is right up there with anyone else that I watch.
Good. So if all my colleagues from Wrestling Travel hear that, I got 6'6" Jay Cash that's got my back on that. So
yeah, I got you.
Thanks, man. So hey, you've plugged everything. Anything else that we now we talked a little bit, and I know a lot of people don't have merch stores and stuff like that, but I've seen the Players Club got some cool T-shirts, and I know that you've got some great designs, and I know that you being very innovative, you've got more designs than really you can throw out. You do a lot of custom work and stuff like that. So people are able to get a hold of you on Facebook if they wanted to check out some of the merch.
I don't have a store yet. I'm just kind of working on that and getting that stuff situated. Just get a hold of me on Facebook under that Shane Hedrick or the Players Club. Leave me a message. Let me know you would like to take a look at some of the designs, Players Club designs. We have some crazy designs. I think I have something like 40 or 50 designs that we've come up with. Because I have a machine in my house and I do my own stuff, it's a little bit different. I don't have to order 100 shirts of just one color and one print. I customize, do whatever color you want, whatever pattern you want. We personalize it on the back, all that stuff. So I'm able to come up with new ideas and different things that I want to throw out there and try. And if something don't work, I have the pattern in my book, and if I don't ever sell it, it didn't cost me anything to go on the computer and graphic it up. You know what I mean? So definitely get a hold of me and tell me you want to see my catalog, I guess you'd call it. And I'd love to get some Players Club merchandise all over the world. You know, we have it in 8 or 9 states in the United States, but I'd like to get it in everywhere in the United States and get it going international.
Players Club International, I like it. So hopefully a lot of our fans from the UK and all over the world can get a chance to check out Jay Cash in the Players Club. I thank you, sir, for your time, and we look forward to, when this is all over, getting out and watching live wrestling, and especially live wrestling that features the Players Club and Jay Cash. So thank you, sir.
No problem, man. Thank you very much.